Get a little bit more water. Wait till you see this frame. It is gorgeous.
You all love working with decoupage paper. I do. I absolutely love that so many companies have so many different designs. And what ends up happening, I end up ordering a piece of decoupage paper, and then it sits in my stash until I can find the right object to put it on. So in today's video, I'm going to share an idea with you for those not so perfect fits of decoupage paper using some old thrifted frames that I was lucky enough to have glass in them. Okay, so here's my thrifted frame. Got to be careful because the glass is not any longer attached, but that's not a big deal. But the frame itself, hold on, it has a backing on it, or a wire on it, but it has some beautiful detail on it. And I just recently ordered this beautiful church print off of Piglet's Closet. When I saw it, I knew I needed it. You know how that goes. But as you see, I looked in all my whole stash of frames, and I don't have anything that this size fits, which is, let me see, it says it's 11.69 by 16.454. There you go. So it's 11 by 16. So anyway, y'all, there you go. And it's okay. We're going to make this work. The thing I need to do is I need to wash off my glass. Just Dawn dish soap, hot water. Get it as clean as I possibly can. I'm going to use some glass cleaner, but this needed a little bit more than just glass cleaner. As you see, a little bit more than glass cleaner here. Now we can take some glass cleaner. The cheap one that works so well. Now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put my image underneath this glass. I'm going to try to center it, eyeballing it, but it'll be okay if it's not perfect. Now I'm not going to worry about this right now. We'll take that off, but I want to have, like, I would need to know, like, where is my image? So this is just a Sharpie. Remove the paper. You can kind of see what you can't really on underneath the black. You can see the Sharpie line a little bit better. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip this over like so. And I'm just using some contractor's paper so I'm able to see from underneath. In a spray bottle, I'm going to put vinegar into this spray bottle. We're going to be using some Mair effect. So yes, that's what we're going to do. We're going to cover that up, the sides up that do not fit the frame totally. The vinegar will prevent the paint from sticking onto this board. So just little bitty squirts. Now I'm going to go ahead and spray the Mair effect on, but I'm going to put a mask on because this stuff's a little bit on the smelly side. Now that this is dry, some of the vinegar may not be, so I'm taking the softest cloth I have, or if you have an old t-shirt would work the best, and I'm just dabbing off the spots where it's still just wet from the vinegar. But you want to do this after your paint dries, or you'll have like smear marks in your paint. So I don't want that defined line, but I do need to cut this outer because you would see it and you don't want any sharp lines. So I'm just going to try to pour, I'm sure I'll spill it. Try to pour some water into a cap. And then I'm just going to go along the line of where this is. So now I'm going to take my nail, and then I'm just going to very gently tear some of this off. I don't care if it goes like uneven, but it's going to kind of, as you can see, there are fibers in this paper. So we just want to get that white off, that little edging off. If it dried, before you finish the whole thing, then add a little bit more water. We're going to be using some decoupage transfer gel by Fusions to apply the decoupage on. So now all I'm going to do is go ahead and then recenter it where I kind of was. Take a quick peek. Hello. I think that'll work. I think it'll work. I'm going to lift that up and then start applying some of the transfer gel. Try not to get too far out if you can help it. Trying to kind of mark where my stopping point of the paper will be. I might have put my paper upside down, but it'll be okay. I see this is the walkway. It's just about the spacing. And then this is just a balled up saran wrap. And this paper has some good old fibers on it, so it seems to be working out perfectly. And I just gently take my little brayer to make sure that everything's down. If some of your glue is off, just leave it alone. You don't want to mess up that mirror effect. So I got another gorgeous frame without anything in it. I'm just going to very gingerly remove the glass. That's very, very dirty.
Wait till you see this frame. It is gorgeous.
Told ya. Gorgeous. Not a fan of the multiple colors, but doesn't matter. It's a little worse for wear. It's a little beat up, but that's the way I like them. So we're just going to set this off to the side. We will be painting the frame. Okay, after giving this one a good cleaning. Oh my gosh, this glass is so old. It's wavy. Oh, honestly, this one almost fits the beautiful swan. But the problem is it's the top. It fits this way, but it doesn't fit that way. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to try to slightly put some mirror effect along that line and just a little hue into here. Okay, so there's my bottom. There's where I can round it. my top where I can round it. And then probably just splatter a little bit in here. I'm going to flip it over. Remove my paper. Be very careful not to slide my fingers so that they get caught. The same thing, Mr. Bottle with vinegar in it. Okay. It's not completely dry. I'm going to go ahead and seal the back of the decoupage paper in, just using some more of the transfer gel. The next step might seem a little bit odd, but I'm going to be spraying the back of the mirror area a little bit into the paper with some enamel black paint. That's really going to make it look like that old mirror. Now I'm going to do one more step. I'm going to finish this off with just some clear coat to make sure that nothing scrapes into the black paint. This is the back piece that came with the frame and was on the back of the glass, but I want my church to pop a little bit more, so I'm going to go ahead and spray paint it white. I guess I could have spray painted. I didn't want the paint to soak into the decoupage paper. I just wanted something to be backing it to pop the image a little bit more. Sure that I had a good mirror. I actually did this process 3 times, dabbing it, waiting for it to be dry to dab off the excess. So don't think I just did this once. I did it 3 times. Not like it, if I keep videoing it was going to make that much of a difference, but yeah. Okay. Not like I need to take a ton off of this. I just want to give it some, like, that it's not that straight manufacturer's cut. Not going as far up as what the water line soaked into. So as you see, I'm just taking my nail and then just grabbing little bitty pieces, letting it rip, not going crazy. Just gives it that nice aged look. Okay, time to get the swan paper on here now. Trying to get it somewhat centered. Of course, wetting it did a little number on it a little bit. So So this paper doesn't have fibers in it, so I'm having a little bit of a time getting it to lay down. So I'm just going to go ahead and mist it. The other one had fibers in it. So you can tell a little bit of a difference. And then my paper stretched a little bit. That's okay. This is why it's still wet. And then we'll go ahead and get the other side. See how wetting it down made it go all the way out to the edges. Not exactly what I wanted it to do, but hey, you know, y'all. It works. On this project anyway, rolling the broiler on it worked wonderful for distributing the glue, but then I was afraid it was going to leave glue lines, so I'm just taking that balled up saran wrap and making sure that I don't have any lines from it. I don't have as much edges on this one, but I'm still going to hit the edges with the black paint, so we'll see how that goes. Do the same thing to the board that came with the frame. For this one, I'm going to paint it white. Well, this one might take a couple coats to paint white because the wood is just soaking it in. Go ahead and seal the back end with some of the polyacrylic. I have my insert done and waiting for that all to dry. I need to paint my frame, but I am going to take these off this old hanging system. As you see, they really stick out. So when you go to hang it, it's really going to hang forward. So now I'm just going to get the frame washed off, Dawn dish soap, hot water. As much as you can. It's kind of hard to get into those details, but see what we can get. To help the paint adhere, especially where there's raw wood, we're going to do some shellac. This is a big guy, but same thing, I need to get it washed up. Now this one's a little bit different because you got all these smooth surfaces that aren't going to want to be painted. That's where the shellac will come in very handy. I'm going to be doing the classic white. For me, classic white is Flour Sack by Sweet Pickins, which is a powder paint, but it gives that old-timey crackled, crazing chippiness to go with the age of what the frames are. But unfortunately, white usually takes a couple coats, so I'm going to mix up 4 scoops, so it's equal powder to a water ratio. This is just tap water that is room temperature. I just put it in the bottle just for the ease of using it. And then you just stir it up, making sure it's all incorporated. Smushing it along the sides, scraping up the bottom. It'll aerate, so it'll start to bubble. Mix it for about 2 minutes, making sure that everything's incorporated. Then you kind of sit it off to the side and let it thicken up a bit before using. I'm afraid that this won't paint as well as I want it to, so just this shiny area, which if it overlaps on the other one, is no big deal. But I am going to do a coat of primer on top of the shellac, just for another reassurance because I had the product. We're just going to go ahead and start getting this one painted. Getting into all those yummy details. I'm going to worry about the flat part first. I'm just going to get some of this paint on the edges, because putting that primer on there was like my first coat of white paint, which a lot of times, sometimes with milk paint, that smooth surface without like the bonding agent, but you have to let that sit for a while, and I'm impatient, so I'll use some other products. Okay, second coat. You can already see that black just popping through. That's okay. Now, a lot of crackling going on. I don't think there's a lot of space for it too. There's so much detail on this. Okay, time to get the second coat on, but this time I will go over what I used the primer on. So it's nice, instead of it just sliding right off, the primer's kind of between the 2 coats of shellac and the primer, we have it bonded to that, which is awesome. Oh, it did end up crackling. This is where the raw wood was, so you can tell the difference between how it crackled on raw wood. There are a little bit of speckles here and there, crackage, but I want to distress it with some waxes, but I need to seal it in so that the waxes that I use don't darken it up. So we're just going to go ahead and use some of the polyacrylic clear matte. Even with the primer, look at the beautiful crackles I have going on. But it's attached, it's not coming up, which is a good thing, because sometimes on that smooth surface, even with shellac, it wants to chip all the way off, but it looks beautiful, beautiful. So now I want to age it with some aging wax by Fusion, but I need to seal my paint in so it doesn't turn brown. So same thing, polyacrylic clear matte. I'm going to use a combination of aging wax and clear wax to give some more age, bring out some more of the beautiful details. So I'm just going to brush it on and not be gentle. I don't think I'm going to get a lot of flaking, chipping off of this piece, but you never know. So get it right down into all those details. You don't want to forget about the sides. My shot cloth and some of the clear wax, and then I'm just going to rub it on, leaving it in those beautiful detailed areas to give this frame some beautiful age. Ooh, look at from there to there, just completely different. Aging wax right on. It's a little bit scary, but you got to trust the process. That's why I sealed it in with polyacrylic, so that it didn't turn brown. I don't want it to turn brown. And I'm not being gentle. If anything wants to chip off, it can chip off. Chop rag and wipe the excess off. Leaving it in those little detailed areas. Then I'm going to take the eraser, aka Fusion's Clear Wax, and I'm going to go over it. And see, it just sticks it in those crevices. And then just take some of that aging wax off. And just makes it look like dirt's been piled up in all those little detailed areas. Okay, time to start putting this back together. So I have my board, my whiteboard attached to the back. So I'm just going to go ahead and set it in there. I'm going to use a framing tool that I saw Hobby Lobby use, and I bought one off of Amazon. There, now that's nice and tight. I'm gonna go ahead and back this. Just gonna use some double stick tape and some paper, brown paper. To cut it, I'm just gonna use some sandpaper. That'll give it a nice clean edge. It's now time to attach the hangers. I better make sure which side is which. That would be. Okay, that's the top. We're good. We're good there. We're good. These are just some eyelets that I buy off of Amazon. You can buy like a pack of 100 bulk, but they really dig into the wood and have been good hangers for us. Now I have some 17 gauge wire. Try to pull it as tight as I can so there's not much hang. Give it a pull, make sure it's on there. Then we'll flip it around, give you a sneak peek, because I need to wash off the Sharpie. So same thing as before, gotta back it up. today's video, sharing, like, are you like me? You have the stash of windows and frames and a stash of decoupage paper, but you just never can find the two that match. That, yes, I need that size. I need it to fit this size. I'm like, oh, I'm over it. Let me think of an idea of what to do with it to get the two pieces married together. And I think the mirror effect is perfect. Oh my gosh, both pieces have my heart. White chippy paint, decoupage paper with the mirror effect and a swan and a church. I don't know, y'all. They both have my heart and I absolutely love them. So give me a quick comment down below. Have I inspired you to maybe marry some of the pieces that you have together that just don't quite fit? So again, thanks for watching today's video. And as always, thank you for being part of our YouTube family. We will see you next time, guys. And you can see what we're up to. Bye. Ritual of Tater. Ready, Tater? Go get it! You wonder, does he still play fetch? Yep, he does. Oh, gotta stop at another toy. He may not need me. He may want to hide it. And he's like, oh, I couldn't get it underneath there. I'll think about it. I know it's dark. It's early morning. You gonna drop it? Okay. Where do you want it? Where do you want it? Do you want it? Here it comes. Usually, I was gonna say, usually it likes to bring it into the bathroom for me. Are you ready? You ready, Tater? Ready? Go get it! He uses the table as a jungle gym. He's so cute.